What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. podcast.
What's up, folks? Welcome to episode 89 of the David Soto Jr. podcast. I'm your host, David Soto Jr., and I've been out of service, or out of pocket, as they say, the past couple of weeks due to a cough. Went to urgent care, blah, blah, blah. And, I don't know, it's one of those let it run its course type of thing. So if I break out into a coughing fit, excuse me. I'm not sure what I wanted to discuss today. I mean, there's always something on my mind, something that I've been thinking about. So very recently, I came across, just looking for something to do on the treadmill, which I have not done very much of, treadmilling or any type of exercise. But I thought, okay, well, I'll look for something to watch. And I came across on Amazon Prime the Gospel of Matthew. Oh yeah, why not? I've recently realized that I'm fascinated. Now, my wife thinks that I read books on religion and Christianity to prove her or evangelicals wrong. And that's the only reason that, and when facts prove you wrong, that's not me. It's not anybody intentionally doing stuff. When you learn of facts, of the truth, that is not what is the word? Malicious, right? Presenting the facts is not malicious. So these glasses, this glare on these are annoying. They're annoying me. What about here? Anti-glare. Oh, okay, these are better. This is just so I can see myself, because this is a video as well as a podcast. Truth and facts should not, if truth and facts hurt your feelings, then you need to really reconsider your value system. If you just want to not be challenged on what you have heard previously, there's something wrong. The truth is the truth is, shall set you free. The truth always wins. And if you want to live your life following some rules that you are given based on someone's speculation or misinterpretation, then you do you. But I'm doing me, and if I read books on the Bible or the Bible and think, what we've been told all this time doesn't make sense, because here's the source and it does not align. That is not me being a dick. The reason I read these books and watch these documentaries and learn this stuff is because it fascinates me. because I love it, to tell you the truth. I've always been fascinated with it. Part of it is been for my own search. It would be so easy. Life would be great if I had a religion to follow. I would love it. Have to go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays too, and give up something for Lent. I get to wear cool cross jewelry. That would be awesome. Maybe a dangly cross earring. No, I don't get any of that because I haven't found something. It's like trying to find the best, a job that suits you, a trade that suits you, a career that suits you. And you try all these different things, and you look into it and like, oh, that one doesn't fit. That one doesn't feel right. It has kind of been the same way with me and religion. That's just part of it, though. The other part is I just am fascinated and can learn. I enjoy learning. It's ironic because I did not enjoy it for throughout my school years. But I enjoy learning to the point where I think I want to study theology. Specifically at St. Louis University. It's not a quote unquote like adult program, so there is not, and it's not all online after work hours, or you choose. I mean, they have programs that in one of them, what I was considering was like the emergency management program or the project manager program, all online at your own pace kind of thing, which I was looking into when I was unemployed, because a lot of employers still want degrees, and that's kind of bullshit. Anyways, but SLU is what we call it. SLU is offering or has a military discount, which is 50%. It's still expensive, but half price. Now, my GI Bill runs out in a matter of months. I did not know that. I had 10 years after I got out of active duty. I didn't know that was the rule. I thought 10 years after I retire, which would be 2025. Was it 10 years? Oh, well. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyways, my GI Bill is I'm losing it soon. So I have to consider the cost after my GI Bill is up. Any school that's going to give, any university, well-known, established university that's going to give 50% off to military, I'm all about it. I checked the curriculum. It looks awesome. Dedicated courses to the New Testament and just something I definitely would enjoy. And so the question my wife asked was, what would you do with that? What would I do with a degree in theology? And my immediate response was nothing. Nothing. Because there is no necessarily end goal. my goal is to take these classes. My goal is to study. What would I do in the end when I have a degree? I don't know. Study more. Could I turn that into some form of money-making process? I don't think so. I don't care. I have a job. I have investments. I have retirements. I have books for sale. This would be just for the pure enjoyment of learning. No other intention. I wouldn't be like, oh, let me go study, new HVAC control systems so that it will make me a better employee. I'm already a pretty good employee, and I'm not opposed to learning, improving my craft or trade. But this would be kind of the first time that I ever really studied something for the pure joy of doing it and enjoyment. Anyways, so Gospel of Matthew is a movie on Amazon Prime. And it's kind of unique because it's a word for word reading. Right? It's not scripted, or rather, the script is the Gospel of Matthew, and it's read, it's narrated, and then you see the scene behind is actual realistic looking Jesus going through the motions and talking and speaking. You don't ever really hear his voice. You hear it, maybe he's speaking Aramaic in the background. And so it gives you a little visual. I actually played it in my car too, because once I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to keep listening. So I played it in my car, I just didn't watch it because it's the audio that I'm interested in more than anything else. Well, I finished that one, and there was the Gospel of John. Finished the Gospel of John. I'm on the Gospel of Mark, and then I think there's also a Gospel of Luke that maybe that's how they get you, because they got to pay for that one. This third one has commercials in it. The fourth, but regardless, what I appreciate about this is it's just, now granted, it may not be, it's definitely not King James Version, which is my preferred version of the Bible, but it is interesting to read all of this or hear all of this in the gospel in context, not just parts of Jesus turning them a healing the blind, or turning water into wine. Like, you hear these things out of context, but to go from beginning to end and hear it all, it was the first time. And I've read, I think, the Gospel of John reinterpreted by a yogi, Paramahasa Yogananda or something. I remember Autobiography of Yogi, which was a great book that I read almost 20 years ago. That guy said Jesus came to him and said that the Gospels need to be rewritten, and so he rewrote them. Basically, with Jesus giving him dictation. So I was reading that years ago. That should be a pretty good sign that I'm into theology when I'm reading something like that. Thick volumes, I never got rid of those. As much as I get rid of stuff, those two giant volumes I never got rid of. was interesting to see, to read those interpretations, especially the Gospel of John, because that's the only one I guess I got through. There is a lot of stuff that contradicts what some Christians say or do. Divorce. It's pick and choose, right? You get to with religion, you get to pick and choose what you want to, what you consider the word of the Lord, or what you consider what needs to be followed and what doesn't. Divorce. Jesus says, granted, it says that you can get a divorce if you present a certificate or something like that. But let me tell you, any man who divorces his wife is committing adultery, a sin. And therefore, also any man who marries a divorced woman is committing adultery, which is a sin, of course. Now, whether we want to live our life that way and never get divorced because Jesus said so, that's up to you. But that's just one of the things that people kind of ignore about Jesus and what he said. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Jesus healed people, took care of people, stood up against what is essentially the government. Called people out for praying, visibly praying in front of people, right? So to see people pray for a photo op, that's exactly what Jesus warned against. Also performing, here we go. Performing good deeds or miracles or charity, giving, and then talking about it, letting people know that you did this thing. He advises against that. He said, you want to do some good, do it. Just for the sake of doing it, not for the recognition. Jesus warns against the people that are preaching, I guess, on the pulpit. And pray for show. We could be talking about these megachurch pastors and leaders. So that's where I've yeah. Let's have a podcast. Let's have a podcast where a guy, and listen to a podcast where a guy coughs up a lung. Bronchitis, pneumonia, something, right? ridiculous. This is why it was worse. So this is why I didn't record anything for 2 weeks. So something that concerns me is, why are churches tax-free? Why are they tax-free entities? It's the biggest scam because they rely on donations. So it's people giving their taxed dollars. They're convinced or tricked into giving their taxed dollars. So they already lost about 30 cents on the dollar. And then now they're giving it. And in some religions, they're told to give 10% of their income. And they have to show what their income is so that the church will know how much to expect. Fine and dandy. You want to do that. But you've already paid tax on that money, and you're giving it tax free to somebody, some organization. They collect your money. And if you're low, middle class, or poor, and you're praying for things to get better, and your prayers, you think that you're giving yourself hope, or you're giving yourself a better chance by donating, tithing. That's taking advantage. You're part of an organization that takes advantage of poor people for your profit. I know you're a non-profit, but you do profit. Churches do profit. They pay salaries. Pastors get paid salaries. They're able to fund businesses. I'd assume contribute to campaigns. All with your money that you gave them. I want to start a church. And really, what are the requirements to start a church? I'm going to look that up. I mentioned this before in my last podcast. It's like the only way that you're really ever going to be significantly wealthy is to be in business and to have your own business. An example of that is start a church. Start a nonprofit organization that does not have to pay taxes and that earns its money off of donations. If I start a church and I collect donations and I take in $100,000, that would be mine to do with whatever I want. I have to keep good tax records and papers, but I've been in business for a while and I know how to do that. The best financial situation I've probably ever been in was when I owned my own business. Anyways, Religion seems like a good business to get into. All right, I'm going to cut this one. It's not really short. I try to make these 20 minutes. Maybe in the future we'll talk about the disciple that Jesus loved. Very, very, very interesting to hear that. If you know who the disciple that Jesus loved is, let me know, because it doesn't say in the Bible. You can find me on my socials at David E. Soto Jr., Instagram, Threads, TikTok. We don't even want to talk about X. Check out my Just Before Bed journal. Check out my Amazon author page. I really need to get to publishing. My childhood memoir is done. I just need to sit down and start editing and proofreading and going to do revisions, get the manuscript ready so then I can start reaching out to agents. In the meantime, I got plenty to read on Amazon. Check it out. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much.